is that?
It's a suggested revision to our.
Well, I think we're gonna have an issue.
What's the issue so far?
Yeah, we're gonna have an issue recording it because hard drive's getting full.
Hard drive is full?
Yeah, that's what it said, but I don't know why. Okay, we're going.
It's on?
Yep.
I was hoping we would go back to the good old days.
So there's not, we don't get a red light necessarily, but you know it's on.
Yeah, it says it's recording, yeah.
All right. Sean Wadsworth, call the Albany Planning Board meeting to order on November the 10th at 6:02 p.m. And we'll just do quick introductions. To my right,
Amaya Torres, alternate.
thank you.
Jim Jordan, Select Board Member.
Curtis Coleman.
Brian Bailey.
Thank you. Morris is excused. He sent me a message that he wouldn't make it. So, minutes of last month's meeting. Did everyone have a chance to review?
Yep.
It was October the 13th.
Yep.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Is that Brian?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Curtis,
I'll
abstain?
abstain, yeah, I'll abstain.
Okay.
Does Amelia need to be?
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm appointing Amalia Torres as a voting member for this meeting.
Yep, thank you.
Let's take a re-vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes of October the 13th? Aye. And Curtis abstain.
Abstain, yep.
Thank you, Brian. Next on the agenda is CIP, Capital Improvements Plan. Did everyone have a chance to review last year's?
I have a question about the Albany CIP. Maybe it's because I am ignorant about this, yeah. But if you go to 2023, all the columns after the F column are added up, yeah? We go to 24, and the current balance, there is no current balance in the G column, yeah? And we go to 2025, and we have some balance in the G column, but they are no as a total. I mean, all the other columns have total except for that one. And in the 24, I mean, there is no numbers, yeah?
I was just catching up to you. So which row?
Okay, look at 2024, and look column G as in general, yeah?
Yep, okay.
Okay, there is no value in there.
I think that's because it's constantly changing.
But it's 24, that means that the books are
Oh, right, yeah.
closed, yeah?
You just got that.
And if we go to 2025, it has balance as of September 17, 24. And I don't understand, because I mean, I went one by one and I added up, and the additions in the green line, they are perfect. You know, except that, you know, in 2025, well, maybe it's not close, I mean, it doesn't have balance because we are in November and it will have a balance on the 26th. But in the year 24, there is no numbers.
So I think what it is in past years, I've asked the town administrator to get us an updated balance. So I'm probably gonna do that after this meeting to get an updated balance.
For the 2025,
That's right.
and the 24?
I think we didn't have one when we were looking at it that year.
Yeah, I mean, if you.
The balances exist, whether they got in this spreadsheet, I guess they didn't that year, but the balances do exist as far as
I
the.
imagine, yeah. I mean,
This
for
isn't an
record
updated
people.
spreadsheet. by
This is
any-
not
it's an old-
updated. This
it's an
is
old-
last year's
Yeah.
CIP.
Yeah,
So when we get updated,
Mhm.
we'll be working on CIP for 2026. So this is last year's. we're looking
Okay,
at.
okay.
So just as a reference point to
Yeah.
start the discussion.
Like I say, you know,
That's good review.
this is all new to me then, and, you know,
Yeah.
numbers are my friends.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, that is an excellent observation.
Yeah.
Thank you. So the general overview of the CIP is we have these line items and they're large expenses for the town, and the idea is that we break up those expenses over a 6-year period so that we don't spike the tax rate.
Mhm.
If the town or the CIP committee thought there was another line item that needed to be added, then it could be added and proposed and presented to the select board for final approval. But this CIP, this level of organization and making a recommendation is the planning board's responsibility. It happens at the planning board level.
I have a question, another question.
Yep.
I mean, the Chapel Capital Reserve Fund, it's a cost 50,000. Is that what the town is separated to fix the chapel? Or what, you know, the chapel committee can, you know, use some discretion after being approved by the select board to use part of that money to revamp the chapel?
I have a general answer to this. I don't know if anyone has a more specific one. These gross capital costs, the first numbers there in column C, are a best guesstimate or a ballpark estimate of what this big ticket item is. And so our best guesstimate last year was that the chapel in its whole is going to need about $50,000 for maintenance and or repair. What specifically that is, I would defer to someone with more knowledge
yeah,
about the
no,
chapel.
there's nothing, to my knowledge, there's nothing that's in stone as far as what needs to be done yet.
Right, yeah.
It's still in process.
One of the big items was the roof, right?
The roof, which has been taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay.
The steeple's been reshingled and that,
Yeah.
so. But I think moving forward, one of the big things is the structure underneath the floor. There's a section of it that's kind of bouncing. So there's that. And then electrical is on the list of potentials. And then looking forward, depending on what they ended up doing with the space, or we end up doing with the space, you know, is there some heating that needs to be involved or something like that?
Yeah.
It was just a number that was set years ago, that when the CIP value, any estimates that we had had at the time, or, because the CIP was, we started it like 20 years ago. And it was just that, it was just a value to try to save for future improvements. Yeah.
Thank you.
So just in the general discussion sense, I think we could just go through each of the line items and talk about it a little bit. And I don't think we'll be voting this evening, but maybe get towards a vote for next meeting. And I think we'd also want some more input from the select board and town administrator and treasurer as well. I did send out an email to all these people, but I didn't hear back from anybody, so we are the CIP committee as it stands right now. So, last year, Chapel Capital Reserve Fund with a gross capital cost of $50,000. Last year, we had a balance of about $24,000, and we were putting in $1,000 a year. So, after the 7-year period, we would have been projected to be at about 30,000. Does that still seem like a reasonable, keep that, change it, up, down? Jim, you mentioned floor.
Yeah, at this point, I think it stays the same unless there's something decided, which there hasn't been decided.
Yeah.
I would say at this point, it stays the same.
And while you're on the chapel committee,
Yes.
do you have any more insight into the
No,
needs of the
really,
chapel?
I mean, the first thing that I would need to do is to clear, all the paperwork and, that the town decided what they wanted to keep it. I know we talked to the library, Conway Library, and the Conway Library is interested, it has a table that I would say this is the Conway Library table, and the guy, we have to bring the guy. We had a person from the state library or something like that last Saturday. We have the North Conway Historical Society, and they want only three-dimensional things that they are there. By the way, there is 2 pianos. I think one is a piano forte that, I am wanted to open, but I think it's in good condition. It's clean, tuned, and things like that. But that piano forte is old, and it can be sold or for some money that is into piano. And the other is a small piano, normal piano that is more, house piano that is there. What else? There is some paintings and a big painting that I'm still investigating who painted that, and there are, valuable documents of the town, even we have going through books that I say, in 1965, so-and-so was taxed because he didn't pay the taxes on time, then he had a penalty, yeah? It's, I don't know how much value or how much the town is gonna want to have these things in the internet, but I just put in all of those things in the internet cost money because you have to send it outdoor, or the town has to rent to buy a machine, and you need to know somebody who go and feed the machine. All of those things cost money in today's world, but it's, of all the ideas that we went in the committee, the one that is, I think is the committee support more is the idea that this should be open for holidays, town holidays, and should be decorated like that painting that I am in love with. Yeah, a paper that say who painted that, because it's beautiful, it's really beautiful, I tell you. I am about to steal the paint, but it's big, larger than me, yeah. But anyway, and there are others painting over there, and maybe, in my crazy mind, I propose to propose the select board, why we don't force people to enter through there when, when we have reception, holidays, things like that, because if it can be like the history of the town. And I am very happy, to tell you the truth, that I am participating in that committee, because I have been learning about Albany, things that I never would have done it, because nothing is written about the town, very little, yeah. Then, that thing is, now I feel like a local, yeah. Now I have to learn to speak like an Albanian from New Hampshire, yeah.
We all speak Albanian.
No, really, I enjoy very much the committee. The members of the committee, we are a nice group, and it has been a win-win for everybody. We collapse, and that's the best thing in life, yeah. And for me, I love history, then therefore this gives me the history of the town. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, those are the things, I don't know, every time about the decision is gonna lean in the select board, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
It's
if,
been a museum forever.
Yeah.
And that was the Albany Historical
Right,
Society.
historical, yeah.
yeah, if the committee ever kind of recognized a big ticket expense, that would be the thing
Mhm.
for this committee to consider. So that's the thing to keep
Yeah.
in mind, kind of going forward. So if not this year, next year, if you're thinking
It
you
needs
see
to-
something structural, like safety structural wise, or some project that you think has value to the town,
Mhm.
that would be.
Well, I think the chapel has a value for historical value, yeah. But, the cost of repairing it, you have to consider, because this is not a very rich town, it's no, yeah. Unless we find some donor or some, that, because in my opinion, but I am not a contractor or anything like that, the worst, the attic, if we clean it and fix some beams and things like that, I think it's okay, and nobody's gonna use the attic. You're gonna use just the floor, but the floor, we have been around looking what is underneath, and that needs repair, yeah, yeah. But I have no idea of the cost of that, no idea.
Well, that's good to hear. I didn't know about floor, so that can't be the smallest of.
The building, actually, I had a builder,
We've gone through this.
I've had a builder
Okay,
to come in and inspect the whole building.
okay.
And the building is in really good shape, except that one spot in the floor, which is probably, I couldn't get underneath there, he couldn't get underneath there, we don't know how to access it, short of trying to poke open a hole where there might be one. But there's probably some blocks or something that have broken or something like that that supports the floor on the ground. It's typical,
Yeah.
but the rest of the building is in excellent shape.
Okay. Well, for the purposes of CIP, I heard Jim say keep it as is. Does anyone have any other
I think that's great.
increase or decrease as far as chapel goes?
That's good.
Yeah, I defer as well. So we'll just leave that. The next line is Town Hall Property Capital Reserve Fund. That is for the whole rest of this. I think we had some upgrades for heating and cooling. But I'm not aware of what the town hall is needing. I don't know. if
The
anyone
only
else
thing
is.
I think we talked about was the parking lot. Is that part of this section of the thing? But we really don't know what we're doing until the state does the road and.
Yeah, I would say
driveway,
just
it's kinda-
wait, you
yeah.
know, it's like until they figure out what they're doing here, just, I mean, I don't know, it's whatever, that's kind of not highway and streets, so it's kind of the select board's decision.
Yeah,
So to repave that, they're gonna have to do some grinding up and spend some money on it. So I don't know if they just wanna, if you guys would just wanna seal it and be good with it for another couple of years, and,
right.
I mean, I would think just maybe just wait until the state does their thing, and then
Have a
we'll,
better view of.
we'll have a better view. I mean, could always seal it like we did before.
Yeah, that was less than 10 years ago, it was like 8 years ago.
Someone might volunteer to seal it. You're pretty good at that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I heard you sealed the driveway,
Huh?
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
I
seal the
did.
whole driveway.
Yeah, I see the driveway, yeah. I have my neighbor came and dumped the,
You're an expert.
yeah, well, yeah. Oh, you want me to seal this? But that is for money, yeah. I do it, but that is, I'm an expensive lady.
Okay. So I think I would just recommend waiting until we know what the state's doing with the reconstruction.
That's the only thing I can think of, so.
Yeah, so.
So that has a target of 30,000. Last year, the balance was at 6,000. And it's projected to contribute 6,000 per year over the next 6 years.
Great.
Leave it as is unless anyone wants
I
to
think we
change
leave it as is, that's my opinion.
All right, next, public safety, emergency management expendable capital reserve fund, gross capital cost of 10,000. Last year, the balance was 5,000, and putting in 1,000 each year for 6 years.
Feel the same way,
Yeah.
stay the same.
Stay the same.
As is. Highway department, highway and bridge expendable trust fund with a gross capital cost of 500,000. A balance as of last year of 216,000, and a contribution each year over the next 6 years of 60,000. So I would love to hear anyone's knowledge on this. Past the Conway Road,
So it's just the same old, well, that's a flap grant, yeah. That's kind of a select board thing, right? Because they decide this, but, I mean, when the warrant articles, well, I mean, you know, I don't know, I don't really have a huge opinion on this, just because that money was, when the flap grant stuff was going on, if my memory's right, that was to help rebuild some of the Pascoe Road, but that's all gone away. The flap grant stuff's all gone away, so. Do you know any more about that? or-
I don't know, so I'd have to figure out if there's anything that, I mean, what else this would be used for.
Yeah, there was, you know, I can't remember, but I believe that we generalized it enough, it could be for anything.
Was that, it started up, was it for the bridge?
It's for the bridge, and I think, well, the flap grant, I don't know, I'd have to get back up to speed, because they scrapped the bridge program, and then they scrapped the scenic byways one, so I don't know, maybe I'm getting them mixed up. So
Right.
I would think we just would have to check on the specific,
And
the
if we had
specifics on
something
it.
pop up, road or bridge-wise, that was a big expense,
Yeah.
this be our place to go to for.
Yeah, the highway reserve fund has, what, 240,000 you said into it, or?
Something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
216,
And what
So-
were we doing per year? Were we doing anything per year?
60,000 per year?
60 per
Yeah,
year.
60, so I would just say, we just stay at that, and, you know, we discussed that, it's a warrant article, I believe.
Because we
So what-
renamed it, right, last year?
Yeah, we made it so it was anything, you're not just a bridge or the matching.
So is that like something, if something occurs?
We have
floods Or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
that
So,
would
like-
be reimbursed.
3 years ago, or 2 years ago, we had those rains that came, and we had like $80,000 in damage in a matter of, a night. And we took money and we paid for the fixing of all that, because FEMA hadn't declared Carroll County, a disaster area, so we took that, the board moved that to pay for the damage, and it ended up that that FEMA never did declare it. So it was handy to have that, because obviously it was 1/3 of the road budget in a matter of 12 hours, so, of damage, so that was handy. So that would be like situations that we would use it.
Yeah. So I think it's invaluable to keep it the way it is, so.
It's above and beyond any maintenance,
Right.
paving, or
Right.
anything like that you do.
Yeah, it's almost emergency funds, you
Yeah,
know,
if we had a bridge that's
washed out.
washed out, or,
Right.
At some point, if
Or
we're doing
something-
60,000 a year, I would think we'd wanna,
Cap it.
say, okay,
Yeah.
that's enough.
I would think so, yeah.
So the target is 500.
Yeah.
Does that seem high, low, just about right for a, we're kind of viewing this as a emergency,
It's kinda hard to say.
kind of hard to say.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it depends on the town, it depends on the year, you know? I would say support it for $60,000 this year and see if the town people will vote on it at town meeting. Once we get reevaluated with the town and see where our new school funding is and all that, maybe next year we'll have a different opinion on it. We'll say we don't want to come up with the
Right.
$60,000, you know?
Depending on what the tax rate is.
Yeah, depending on what the tax rate, because 60,000, I mean, it, you know, maybe 100,000, so almost $1,000, right? So, I mean, so I would think you just look at it year to year. So, I don't see any event that I could foresee that would cost us
500.
$500,000, unless a vehicle going through a bridge, and I think the state would help us with that, or the insurance companies or something like that, I don't know. But that would be pretty unlikely, so. I mean, our covered bridge is our biggest liability with damage, people damaging it, but we do have the telephone, we have the barrier protectors and all that, so.
I traveled to New York, Vermont, and they have a problem with one of the covered bridge. And what they decide, I mean, I think it was very ingenious, is that the covered bridge is here, right? And before you enter in the covered bridge, they put an arc that is just a metal arc that is, I stopped and I saw that it was like a really in the bottom, but in the bottom of the covered bridge, the arc. And it say also the year that they covered a bridge, but I bet you that, for example, my car with my kayak rack, that is like a 2 horns, yeah, I cannot go through that, through the arc, that a metal arc. It's just like a rebar, you know, with a little design. It's pretty.
We have that,
Yeah,
we have that.
yeah?
I mean, it's a big telephone poles, but we have the same idea.
Oh, okay, well, you know, I never saw, I mean, that bridge I have been crossing many times, especially when I was living in Vermont, and I never saw they didn't have it, but I know that they have it, and when I go to Vermont, I read the local newspaper, and at least know they have it, yeah, they say, oh, this is a good, and it's pretty, yeah.
Yeah, ours is not right up against the bridge, it's, 100 feet before it. You pass under a telephone pole arch, it's like just 2 uprights and a horizontal, right? So it doesn't, I don't know, it's kind of easy to forget it if you're not worried about your height.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, they hit it.
It's there, it's there.
They hit it.
Oh, yeah.
They hit it.
People hit it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pascagoula Road, is that was kind of the spur of a lot of this fund historically. Does that need repairs?
We've done a lot of
In excess
them
of
out.
kind of just normal maintenance? I mean, the concept was it got hammered down by the logging trucks during the logging operation of the Forest Service, but what's kind of the reality there?
You know, everybody's got a different opinion on it. To me, the Pascoma Road has been has had the same constraints since I've been alive. And so it doesn't worry me at all. Some people move to town and think it's steep or it's settling a little bit but I think it's fine, so.
Yeah.
But I've lived here my whole life
Yeah.
and I don't get all that worried about it. I
There's
mean,
one
it's
spot
a
that-
narrow spot that some of it settles a little bit every few years and we fill it in with pavement and
And it's been there for.
it's been there since we
59
were,
years.
yeah, since I ever can remember, and it doesn't bother me a bit. There are other people that have other concerns about it, that think it's something that we need to address, and I don't think we need to address it, but.
So just historically, that has been, the bulk of what this fund was Pascoma related to the Forest Service damage, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I think there was some for this red listed bridge that was, so we had the money to, so we had the money to match the grant if we got one. But they've since scrapped that program, so it was like 80%, 20. We had to have 20% of the cost to rebuild the bridge if the state came up with the money. We had a year to fund it. So if we figured the bridge was $1 million, we had to have $200,000. That's where a lot of this money is. And then, but we joined, a couple years ago, we joined it.
Last year.
So, yeah, last year, we joined it so it could deal with any issue, not just one specific project, I believe.
And that bridge at some point, but it could be 5 or 10 years down the road,
Yes.
might need
Right,
not $1 million worth, but
No.
a few $100,000 worth of.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, I think what I'm generally hearing is maybe this is reaching, so if it has a balance somewhere around 200,000, that maybe that's a more appropriate gross capital cost target than 500,000.
I think you want to get to at least 300,
Yeah.
so. Because, I mean, if you look at it, we just, one rain event cost us $80,000.
And that didn't include any bridge.
And that didn't include the
Problems.
bridge.
Right, so
the
we
bridge
did have
problem
something with the
can-
bridge and one.
Yeah, so you want to have 300, 350 at least, so I would think,
Okay.
yeah. About 500 seems like a lot.
Well, we can consider that, and perhaps upon voting, we revise the gross capital cost down to 350. And
Well, I don't think the town, as far as, I mean, this is a target, so I don't think, I think the only time the townspeople are gonna care at town meeting is when we talk about how much we're gonna
the annual
raise and appropriate and put in the capital highway reserve fund.
the annual contribution of
Yeah,
60,000.
I mean, they don't care what our target is, it's just, they're gonna care about what we're gonna raise from taxation to put in this fund.
So do we continue with the 60, or if we want a lesser target, do we?
Yeah, you can change it to 360, you know,
Right.
400, I don't know. To me, it doesn't really make much of a matter, but,
But I mean, the annual input, it's set at 60,000 now. Do we drop it to 50 to?
I think you'd wanna at least get it to 300,000. You know how
Yeah.
quick it goes
Right.
if we have an issue, but, I mean, 10,000 doesn't matter. If you wanna go to 290, I mean, you can do it to 50,000. If that, I mean, it's ultimately up to the board of selectmen. So whatever you guys wanna do, if it's 50, I can live with whatever.
Okay, thank you. The next is the Cemetery Expendable Trust Fund.
I can speak on that, that can stay the same.
Okay,
Um,
I'll just run the notes. So the gross capital was 25,000, last year's balance was 23,000, and the contribution was 1,000 per year.
Yep.
So Jim, you recommend the same?
Yeah.
Mostly maintenance?
That's for some other stuff that I would assume is just for other stuff. If we need to, we would ask for some out of it for maintenance, but we have our own maintenance budget. And we have a repair budget. We separated the maintenance, general maintenance and repairs, meaning fences or a tree falling down that's done damage or something like that. So those things are in the budget itself. This would be for something more than that.
So what is it for? What is this? What is the scenario where the town needs 25,000 on hand for cemeteries?
I would say if something happened to one of them, that, you know, you could have a big storm and 3 trees topple down on top of, well, one of the ones that we've had trees come down on was Moody.
Yeah.
And they break headstones and they kind of destroy his cemetery.
Yeah.
If you have 1 or 2 trees fall down, that needs to be cleaned up. We had 1 tree taken down that was $3,000 bucks, so if you had a couple trees fall down and destroyed some headstones and stuff like that, you know, you 10 grand,
Yep.
15 grand.
At least.
Yeah, so.
Is the town responsible for headstones that they break from trees?
There's an argument on whether we're responsible for headstones. I feel that there's a lot of headstones, let's go back to the Moody Cemetery, there's 1835, there's a 3-year-old, and there's a lot of young kids that died there. Those families aren't around here anymore. And if those headstones break, do we as a town just want to leave them falling over and disheveled and stuff like that? I don't. I want our cemeteries to look presentable and neat and out of respect for who's there, that we do pick up and take care of things. That's my feeling on it.
There's always been, I mean, I don't know if it's an RSA, I'm sure there is RSA about cemeteries, I know there is, as far as fencing and maintenance and whatnot, but we've always maintained the cemeteries,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
You know, and broken headstones,
And we're trying to get,
I mean, that's,
Arthur Memorials up to Moody and Canada Street. I don't know if you know where that one is, but it's up on Pascagoula Road, up
Oh, yeah,
behind
the one-
the Knox
yeah,
property, yeah.
yeah.
We're trying to get those, there, we're trying to schedule it with them, but it's taken 1.5 years and we still haven't got it on their books, so.
Is that to do headstone?
To do
repair?
headstone repair, yeah.
It'll come out of that.
But that's in the budget, the budget that we've got that slated in.
So the thing that's come to my mind is with we have just a lot of standing dead from
Mhm.
spongy moth, emerald ash borer. You know, there's a couple more species coming. There's gonna be a couple more species of trees dying. I'm presuming there's probably some standing dead oaks around at least a few of our cemeteries. And do
Which
we do
we had
preventative
some removed
takedowns?
because of that, yeah.
What's that?
We had some removed,
We did.
yes.
Okay. And that is regular budget item, or is that out of
That was
this
a repair budget item,
repair
yes.
budget item?
Yeah. So we didn't have to have them fall, break headstones that cost twice as much or 3 times as much.
That's what
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, that was,
I have a question about cemetery, but it's, I was asked if we have in Albany, the cemetery that you bury the person with no coffin or anything like that. It's like a natural, I don't know how they call it, but apparently this is the new fashion in people, you know. Then do we have that or?
I don't know the question. What was the question?
I
can
mean,
you bury without a vault?
yeah,
Without a vote?
yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you can.
I went to
don't think
one
so.
and it's, the person was in a beautiful piece of wood, completely covered. Yeah,
I don't
it
think
was
so.
it was a woman completely covered like a bride, yeah. And we lowered, there were 4 strings or things like that to lower the wood with the person in a hole, and then she was covered with the,
So I believe we're casket and urns.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I answered, you
Yeah.
know, I
It's
mean,
'cause they would
so,
fall in.
Yeah, I would love to hear maybe some more research on this, but my understanding is if if there's not a law or an ordinance specifying casket,
Yeah.
then you can be buried
Right.
wrapped in a cloth, you can be buried in a pine box.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be a sealed chamber. So my understanding is, since we don't have any ordinances like that,
We do have cemetery regulations.
but they don't specify sealed casket.
Maybe not.
I don't think they
Do
do.
you know that, or are you just saying that?
I remember looking at it a while ago.
Right, so you don't know it. I mean, I don't know it. I mean.
I feel like I knew it like 5 years ago, but I haven't checked on it, right? And so last time I checked on it, yeah, basically you could wrap someone in a cloth and bury them, and that's legal. Basically, it's legal anywhere in New Hampshire.
And as far as the maintenance goes, I mean, we sell the plots. So the town sells the plots, so I mean, we need to maintain the cemeteries.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're selling
Yeah.
plots, we need to maintain them.
Well,
In $25,000, we could spend that 5 times over with the existing problems we have right now. I mean, that's
If we
not,
attack it all today,
Yeah,
fix it all, yeah.
of
yeah.
course.
That's why we're trying to do the maintenance budget annually. We try to set it up so we're plucking away at this and not doing.
probably have,
What's that?
we probably have $300,000 in damage
Yeah.
to cemeteries and maintenance issues outstanding, I would guess. I mean, we have trees growing over everything, we have broken stones everywhere. I mean, it's an issue that we haven't addressed in 50 years, I would guess.
Right, right, yeah.
So,
Well, we had a fence that sat on the ground up at High Street for,
so.
I mean, we bought and paid for a post and rope and all this, and it was just laying on the ground.
And prior to you, in the cemetery committee that's gotten active, I was doing the cemetery committee maintenance,
Yeah,
most of it. If there was a hole or something tipped
Right.
over or whatever, we would fix it, so.
well, my friend had her son buried on her backyard.
Yeah,
She lives in Rome, you know, the guy that was killed here during the rain that overflowed our river, that they were killed, you know, he and the wife, yeah. They are buried in my friend's house, yeah.
Yeah, this is legal as well. On private property, you can still bury on your own private property. There's some regulations about it, but still.
Is it still legal in here in Albany?
So-
Oh, okay.
on CIP, when we do X amount of dollars a year till we reach our goal, we stop at that point? Is that how this works, the CIP?
yeah, until we adjust
I mean,
it.
because if we had $23,000 last year, we're probably one more year and we're. at
I mean, this is
the goal.
basically just a planning.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not, I mean, you know how the rules work.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the select board decides what the hell to
Right,
do.
right.
So, I mean, it's just planning, and that's how the CIP group came up. And the reason why CIP even exists is for different funding measures from the state side.
Right.
They want to see it happen so that they're not left, like, they might potentially not fund something because we don't have a CIP group in place or plan in
plan
place,
ourselves, yeah.
because they don't want to have to pay for everything because the town hasn't gotten their act together. So that, I mean, that's why it all came about. I mean, it came about through FEMA and monies that the federal money and all that, that's how the CIP kind of finally got going in the town of Albany. But I would just say keep it the way it is and, you know, deal with the dead trees as you guys come, I mean,
yeah.
you know, whatever. The stones.
Okay. The last one is the revaluation trust fund, a gross capital cost of $30,000. Last year's balance was $19,000, and the contribution was $6,000 a year. And that, is it every 3 years or 5 years that the revaluation happens?
I should know this.
Yeah.
5.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
gotta be 5, I would
yeah.
suspect.
I
It takes them
think
3
is
years,
5
it takes them
because
3
if-
years to do it.
If you take 6,000, is that what we're putting in?
Yeah.
For 5 years, it gets us to 30,000, and I think our estimated cost was gonna be 28,000 to do the next revaluation.
So that seems on target.
Yeah, that was looked at hard last year.
All right, well, that's CIP overview.
Painless.
We can, we'll revisit it next month and hopefully get some more input from the select board and the town administrator and the treasurer. The other thing CIP is last year's minutes. So I emailed this out as well. in attendance at last year's CIP meeting on December 11th were myself, Joe Ferris, James Druin, Rick Highland, Curtis Coleman, and Kelly Lopetall. So, we have 3 of us here, and has everyone, have the 3 of you had a chance to review last year's minutes, CIP?
I did not have time to look at that part of
I'm fine with
it.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Looking at it right now.
Hmm.
I think it's raining out.
I mean, it sounds fine to me. I mean, not that I'm gonna remember everything from last year.
We could also defer this, table it till next month, and hopefully have a few more people flushing out the CIP committee. When we actually take a vote. No, we'll just do that. I'm gonna table the minutes for next month and/or a separate CIP meeting. And we'll do that then. Next order of business on the agenda, recruiting new members. Same as always. Anyone have anything there? Next order of business is reading through ordinances and thinking about where we want to make changes in the ordinances. So we talked about this last month, that the calendar for actually getting something done is closing quickly, and we don't have too much progress.
I'm working on some language. I've been working on some language on the ADUs
Yep.
revisions and what other towns are doing and everything. I can send that out via email,
That'd be great.
even maybe tomorrow, but
Yep.
some suggested revisions. There was 2 parts to the ADUs that looks like it needs revisions. Was one, obviously, the accessory dwelling can be detached. And also, I believe, our square footage is 750 square feet, and the state law now says 1,000. So those are the 2 things that I saw.
Well, ours is what?
750,
And the state's saying 1,000.
1,000, I believe that's the case. But there's some guidelines from the New Hampshire, I can't remember the acronym, but they have a list of bullet points of suggestions, that says do's and don'ts. So I got that list, and then looks like the town of Milton I also reviewed. They have a draft copy of their revisions for their ADUs. So I'll send those 3 things out for review, just some suggestions and
Yep.
possible edits to our language. So I can send that out tomorrow.
Sounds great.
And then the only other thing we gotta get rid of in my mind is we gotta strike the cluster housing part of our subdivision regulations. Because there was conflict, if you remember, there was conflicting, there was some conflicting wording in our subdivision regulations regarding 2-acre lots. In our master plan, in our subdivisions, 2 acres lots, and then there was some line in there about cluster housing, and we don't allow cluster housing, so we should just get it out of there. So, that was really all I had.
I kind of focused on the definitions.
Yep.
And I could send you a list of the definition numbers that I feel need to be addressed, that are conflicting with each other and stuff like that.
That'd be great.
I can do that.
But for that to happen, we need to, so we gotta send that in, and then just, because we gotta have to vote on it. And it's actually I believe that we have to vote on it, not at town meeting, but actually a written vote, right?
Is it? I don't know.
I think so, but I'm not
Lisa was
sure. We
looking
can
into
get that clarity.
Yeah, Lisa was looking into how that needs to be done. There was discrepancy if we change any zoning, that the whole package, the whole ordinance has to be approved. or can we amend different pieces?
Yeah.
Which I believe you can amend different pieces.
Yeah, you can amend it, and you can see, because if you look at our regulations, it's like
There's
six,
dates
5 or
and
6
stuff, yeah.
amended, yeah, you can amend it, but,
So-
I mean, I've said this before, I'm not overly worried about the whole massive group. I just think that if you look back at the last 20 years, what we've had for problems, there's been a few problems. The ADU stuff, but the state fixed that, because we have no choice now.
Right.
And then, the clustering language, so. Which obviously, it was an issue that was challenged, but not really challenged, because once attorneys looked at it, they decided they were gonna lose, so they didn't push the issue.
Would you find?
I believe for subdivision regulations, that is within planning board, and we just have to we want to make changes to subdivision regulations. Again, I believe we got to double check on this, but we just have to have a public hearing at the planning board level, and we can amend the subdivision regulations. That's not.
At that meeting?
Yeah, that's not a town meeting thing.
Yeah,
I believe so.
that would surprise me. but-
Same thing with site plan.
I think it should be at the town level, but,
I think zoning ordinance is I know zoning ordinance is the town level thing, and I think that's the only town level thing.
I mean, I don't wanna, as a board of 5, affect the whole town's property values. I mean, but I'd like to see that. I mean, that would be something I think town attorney should tell us. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think as a board, and boards do it all the time, they get carried away, and then all of a sudden we affect everybody that has property in the town. So, I don't know. Because we're gonna see more subdividing. I mean, it's happening all the time.
Happened last meeting.
Yeah. You guys went on for a long time about that. That was pretty straightforward, so I mean, the applicant was an attorney too, he knew the rule. So, but, anyway, I can email that, just pull it out, that one part that I have, and it's fine, it's easy.
I have nothing further. Is there anything?
For whatever is worth, yeah, the last webinar that I participated, that is 1 hour, yeah, it's concentrated in the regulation for the planning board. It's called Do and Don'ts, and I have the webinar. I requested a webinar because you can listen it again. Yeah, I don't know if I can email the webinar to all of you, and you can listen to it. It's just 1 hour straight, yeah. And it has a very interesting thing. My idea was to bring tonight a paper with the important thing that I saw for us, the planning board, because I mean, there are many things like I never knew, because, you know, I'm new, but there is some changes, and they do the RSA and things like that, but I have been to the top of the roof, you know, this with some family issues, and I haven't had the time to, I started, but I haven't had the time to finish, yeah. But I don't know if I can forward to it, to all of you, and if you feel it's 1 hour, and it's pretty interesting, yeah. I mean, and they are very focused, yeah. But I will forward to you, and if you wanna listen in or entertain yourselves, you know.
I think one thing that boards need to be very conscious of, and we've actually, our attorney made a mistake about it a year ago or so, is non-conforming pre-existing use. We cannot take away anything from landowners. So last meeting, there was a lot of discussion about a 3-lot subdivision that was pre-existing. I don't care if it's non-conforming of 2025. that was pre-existing, so if you shave a lot off, give it a new access, it's still 3 lots, okay? So I mean, I read the minutes, went on and on and on about it, and it was a 4-to-1 vote, but it was a pre-existing non-conforming lot. We didn't add a lot, we didn't do anything, you pulled one off and gave it an access onto a town road. So it's pretty straightforward, we got into it on Pine Knoll Road when we had a subdivision, when we had a boundary line adjustment of a pre-existing non-conforming lot. He already had 2 lots, sure, didn't meet the acreage, but it was non-conforming. We've gotten into it off the Passaconaway Road. I mean, all those lots are 0.1 or 0.2 acres. Well, they're non-conforming lots, but they're pre-existing non-conforming lots. We get into it with driveways. Half the driveways in this town are non-conforming for our new regulations, but we're not taking them away. So the board, if you're gonna really get, if you feel like you're educated about this, the board is not here to try to take away stuff. And I'm glad you guys approved it last week because, I mean, obviously the applicant knew the law, and we would have had issues if we didn't honor the non-conforming rules. And we're gonna get into that more and more and more as it goes down the road. Because, I mean, I can see families are gonna split lands and subdivide and do things, and that's just
There's a
the
lot
way
of
it's gonna
land
go.
that's an acre,
Yeah.
and it was just sold, and they're gonna wanna build a house on it.
Right.
And so that lot is non-conforming, but it's a house lot.
I mean, there's lots all over the place that are half acre, an acre. I mean, we own 20 of them. I mean, and you can build a house on every one of them. But we just, as a town, we cannot take things away that's pre-existing, and boards get carried away. I see it all the time, and they just get really carried away with it, and they don't have the authority to do it, and that's what gets towns sued, and that's where where we would get ourselves in trouble. So that's my 2 cents. But
Oh, yeah, so, one last week was not non-conforming, right? It was,
The right-of-way was non-conforming. The right-of-way accesses more lots than today we would allow. That part of it was non-conforming, the rest of it's fine.
But
That was my opinion on that whole thing, we didn't change the right-of-way, so.
oh yeah, I mean, that drive accessed multiple lots.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually accesses a lot of them.
So today, it would have to be built to town spec and all that.
Sure.
But it was back in, what was it called, the old?
road.
No, the old logging road, or whatever the
Yeah.
term was, it was
Yeah.
used back then, it is what it is, and
It's
we can't change that.
What the hell is it called?
But in the webinar, there was a case, a case with
The
the road
landlocked
that
case,
was
isn't it?
not conforming
Yeah.
road and things like that. And one person died because the ambulance was not able to get to the person, yeah? And the person died, and apparently the family sued the town because of the road was there, and the town say that's a non-conforming road, and there is, if you wanna build your road, but this is not a town road.
Right, it's like, it's similar to like if you, like, we have a situation, there's a resident that has a house off of Class 6 Town Road. We have one Class 6 Town Road in the town, and the board at the time demanded a letter holding the town harmless. You can build off that Class 6 Town Road,
Yeah.
but you're gonna hold us harmless from any type of maintenance issues if you have an emergency, if say a fire vehicle can't get up there, and for that exact reason. We have that situation within the town, and we have that on file within the town right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Birch Hill. Birch Hill's the only one that goes from Town Hall Road to Bald Hill Road,
Haley Corner.
so, yeah, it's the only corner.
And that's kind of, I don't know why, if that's kind of why the town built access off of 16 for Golden Oaks, right? Because when that question if
Emergency.
Well, that was,
vehicles could get there.
Yeah, that was the planning board from whatever, 40 years ago, approved a subdivision without proper access, so, and so it was just a terrible planning move from the town at that time. And they approved access to a 48-lot subdivision with terrible access. And so you couldn't get emergency services vehicles up the road in the winter. So that's why the town built Nickerson Road, bought and built Nickerson Road 20 years ago or 15 years ago, whatever the heck it was. Because that was a planning board or whatever kind of problem we had. So those are the situations but we rectified it, so that's good. Now emergency vehicles get in there, no problem. And we closed we closed the old road, so. Yeah, so you can get yourself into have issues if you don't do it properly.
I agree.
And we can see the things that weren't done properly, you know, we identify them, but we can't change them.
No.
It is what it is.
I mean, the only thing we can
need to
do.
Make sure we're going forward.
I mean, the only thing we can do is do what the town did at that time and build Nickerson Road.
Right.
And the town people came here and voted on it, and they said, okay, we're gonna kind of make right a wrong that we had, and we fixed it. And it cost the town a couple $100,000 to do it, but they fixed it. But in reality, the developer should have been the one paying for it.
Right.
You know, but the developer was gone, and, you know, so.
I have no further business.
Good.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Next month, I'm not